The first warning came as a shimmer across the outer sensors of the Sol defense network, a distortion so vast that every astronomer on Luna froze in disbelief. What emerged from the void was not a single ship nor a scouting party, but an entire galactic fleet, thousands of vessels unfolding from hyperspace like steel petals blooming in silence, their hulls burned with sigils of conquest, their formations precise and ancient. This was the Dominarium Armada, a force that had erased civilizations older than human language. Across Earth, alarms sounded, not the screaming kind meant to incite panic, but the low, steady tone reserved for events that defied probability. Governments activated protocols written more as theory than expectation. Military commanders reviewed simulations that had always ended the same way. Humanity overwhelmed within hours. Then something unexpected happened. People laughed, in cafes in Paris and Karachi, in underground cities on Mars, in orbital shipyards, above Saturn. Laughter spread like static, not hysteria, not madness, but something closer to disbelief mixed with familiarity. Live streams filled with comments like "finally, what took them long enough?" or "guess it is our turn." The Dominarium opened. A system-wide broadcast, their voice translators grinding ancient consonants into human speech. Inhabitants of Sol, you are hereby claimed under the right of galactic supremacy. Surrender your worlds and your weapons. Resistance will be met with extinction. Silence followed for 3 heartbeats. Then the United Terran Council replied, not with a plea, not with threats, but with a single human voice, calm and almost amused. "This is Earth. Before we continue, could you clarify which version of humanity your intelligence reports are based on?" Confusion rippled through the Dominarium command decks. Their records showed a young species, fractured by internal conflict. Technologically impressive, but emotionally unstable, easy to break. They did not account for laughter as the fleet advanced. Inward, they detected no mass evacuations, no planetary shields rising in desperation. Instead, they saw shipyards increasing output, civilian traffic calmly rerouting, and something else. Deep space arrays, powering up systems long kept dormant. On Earth, an old general watched the stars and smiled. "They always think the first contact is when the shooting starts," he said softly. "For humans, first contact is when the jokes begin, and the preparations end." The Dominarium prided itself on precision. Every conquest followed a pattern refined over millennia, demonstrate overwhelming force, shatter morale, accept surrender. Yet as their advance continued, nothing aligned with expectation. Human communications did not collapse. They multiplied. Encrypted channels bloomed like neural networks. Adaptive and fast, Dominarium analysts reported anomalies. Industrial output increasing beyond theoretical limits. Energy signatures fluctuating unpredictably. And most concerning of all, human media broadcasting openly to the fleet. Memes, music, historical footage of wars humanity had barely survived. Each transmission ending with laughter or applause. One commander demanded an explanation. "Why do they mock us?" he asked. Another replied, "Perhaps they are broken already." Then the first human defensive line activated. It was not a wall of ships, not a grand armada meeting them head-on. Instead, space itself seemed to bend. Localized gravity wells flared, hyperspace lanes twisted. Dominarium vessels found their precise formations disrupted. Ships drifting just far enough out of alignment to break their tactical cohesion. Humans called it traffic control. As the fleet struggled, a human envoy appeared on screen, wearing no armor, no insignia of rank, just a simple jacket and a tired expression. "Welcome to Sol," she said. "You are currently violating about 300,000 navigation laws. Please stand by while we reroute you." Weapons fired. The Dominarium unleashed beams capable of cracking planets, but the beams vanished, swallowed by layered fields that adapted in real time, each shot teaching the defenses how to survive the next. Human scientists watched with interest, already updating models, already improving. Behind the scenes, humanity's true strength awakened. Not a single superpon, but a philosophy forged through centuries of survival, decentralization, redundancy, stubborn creativity. Every colony world operated independently yet cooperatively. Every ship a node in a living system. When the first Dominarium cruiser exploded, not from human fire but from its own overloaded reactors caused by gravitational feedback, the laughter returned, quieter now, more focused. The Dominarium realized too late that humanity had not been idle during its short history. Every war, every disaster, every near-extinction event had been a lesson, and they had graduated with honors. The turning point did not come with a massive battle. It came with a message. Humanity transmitted a compilation to the Dominarium fleet. A carefully curated history of encounters, alien invasions from fiction, simulations of hypothetical threats, training exercises run for fun by bored cadets. The message ended with a simple line: "You are not our first nightmare." Dominarium morale fractured. Some commanders demanded retreat, others pushed forward in rage. But the human response remained unsettlingly calm. Small human vessels began to appear, not engaging directly, but performing impossible maneuvers, slipping through fire, tagging Dominarium ships with markers, then vanishing. Moments later, those marked ships found their systems overridden, not destroyed, overridden. Human hackers called it knocking politely. Entire wings of the Galactic Fleet went dark, crews alive but powerless. Their technology locked behind codes that rewrote themselves every second. Human voices echoed through their corridors. Friendly, apologetic, instructional. Please remain seated. Resistance is inefficient. On Earth. Children watched the feeds, asking parents why the scary aliens looked so confused. Parents laughed and tried to explain that sometimes bullies expect fear, not competence. The Dominarium flagship attempted a final show of dominance, charging its planet-killer weapon, aiming directly at Earth. Humanity responded by opening the archives. Every classified project, every black-budget experiment, every theoretical weapon humanity had ever shelved because it was too dangerous, too unstable, too unnecessary. They were all activated, not fired, just powered on. The energy signatures alone overwhelmed Dominarian senses. Their screens flooded with warnings. Impossible readings, cascading errors. The human envoy returned, smiling gently. "We laughed because we hoped you would leave before this part." The flagship powered down. When the Galactic Fleet surrendered. It did so in pieces. Some ships crippled, some intact, all stunned. Humanity did not celebrate with parades or conquest songs. Instead, rescue crews deployed. Medical teams boarded alien vessels. Translators worked tirelessly. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. Humanity offered terms that baffled the No annexation, no tribute, no eradication, just a demilitarized zone around Sol. Technology exchange under supervision, and one condition: never assume laughter means weakness. The Dominarium leadership struggled to comprehend mercy without dominance, but they accepted, because they had no alternative. As the fleet withdrew, escorted safely beyond human space, a final broadcast echoed across the stars. "This is humanity. We survive by learning, we defend by adapting, and we laugh because fear does not deserve the last word." Galactic civilizations reevaluated their assumptions. Intelligence agencies rewrote their profiles. Children on distant worlds would one day learn the story of the species that met annihilation with a smile. Years later, when new species reached for the stars, they heard whispers before they met humans. Stories of a laughing world, of fleets that arrived in triumph and left in humility. Humans continued exploring, trading, arguing, creating, still imperfect, still divided, but now understood. In the quiet moments, veterans of the Sol defense would remember that first day. The alarms, the laughter, the realization that humanity had grown strong enough to choose how it responded. Not with fear, not with hatred, but with confidence. And somewhere, in the vastness of space, a Dominarium commander would flinch whenever a human smiled, wondering what joke had already been prepared.